I messed up.
You did mess up, but welcome back to Talking Tandemness with Jenna and
That's
Curtis,
me.
where we talk ourselves into circles, hoping to make someone feel comfortable and feel like they have friends. I'm gonna start with this
Okay.
today. If you're not following us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram at Talking Tandemness, and then I'm also trying to get a website set up for, I don't know, maybe like a community space eventually when this takes off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be a wild one because I had something else set up to talk about, but I've had a wild day. I know Curtis wants to talk about the previous episode that we recorded a little bit.
Did I?
And Curtis is drinking, so it's going to be a rough one.
I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, you said you would talk about how the last episode, it was like me rambling for 45 minutes straight to myself.
I did say that I would talk about it if you wanted me to.
We don't have to talk about it. We could start with mine, because I have like several topics to talk about.
Remember when we used to do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and we were like,
yeah,
just
well,
not...
you know, my Monday, Wednesday, Friday all revolves around the same topic now.
You know what? It's fine.
Honestly, I think I'm just butthurt. So, last episode we talked about a person named Mr. Man. I think I called him that on the podcast. And so it didn't go anywhere. Like, they have nothing to be butthurt about. But he was like, we're just very busy, and he doesn't see it working because we live both busy lives.
Which I feel like you said.
I did say, but I'm butthurt about the fact that he said it. Like, if anyone were to call it off for that reason, it should have been me, because at least I was trying. He didn't put any effort in. And then, this is kind of like a main character moment. Like, I'm like, Jenna, humble yourself here. But I just feel like it's his loss, because I think I'm amazing. Is that terrible?
No. I mean, it's a good attitude to have.
Yeah, like, I truly think, like, I guess this is, again, I'm me thinking I'm the main character, but, like, he's gonna look back and be like, dang, I lost her. Like, me, I'm gonna move on and be fine because I don't need a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Do you think I'm amazing? Humble me here, Curtis.
I don't know how to answer that statement.
Or don't humble me. Well, so I had...
You had a piece of humble pie?
No, I have two close guy friends that I've talked about a million times. I lived with them in college, and they were saying that they would never see this situation working with me in general, because they were like, it's been 3 months of you talking to him and he hasn't asked you on a date, like, you're too good for him. And I was like, that made me feel good.
Part of me was surprised that you let it go this long, and then another part of me was like, oh wait, this is just her 77 strike rule.
Honestly, yeah. I'm going back to, like, I don't know.
What are you going back to?
I'm going back to...
You have to have something to go back to.
I'm going back to not speaking to, in a relationship status, to anyone. But I'm going back to the idea of, like, if they don't ask you on a date in 2 weeks, it's over. And I counteracted it last episode, but also I'm so done. Like, this was so draining. 3 months of talking every single day over text. It's so draining, Curtis. And you're probably like, no, it sounds amazing to have someone. No, it is miserable.
I was going to say it couldn't be me.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it really can't be me. That's sad.
The next topic, and this is something that I struggled with. So this was a whole learning curve for me. So I went like 5 years without talking to a single soul. And not 5 years, I'm 24. I went 3 years without talking to a single soul. Mm-hmm. And something that I learned is it's really hard to be in like a talking stage situationship, or even like the early stages of dating for me, because I want to like immediately get to know people on a deeper level. Like, I want to know your ins and outs, and I want to know who you are and why you are and what you do. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, at the early stages of talking and dating, it's like, what's your favorite color? And I just think it's so boring.
I don't disagree. I mean,
I'm like, tell me what you hated about your childhood. Tell me about anything you can imagine. That's what I want to know.
I don't get it. Like, talking doesn't make sense to me. You're either dating or you're not.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Which I feel like is an unpopular opinion.
Is it?
Yeah. I feel like there's people who would say they're in a talking stage more often than they're in a actual relationship.
Yeah. I don't know. I do think I'm the problem in a lot of the things that I do to myself. Like, I'm not going to deny I set myself up for failure a lot of the time. But I don't know. In this situation, I don't think I was the problem, because I tried to initiate things so many times and he was just like dodging it. So that's his fault.
You know what I think
And
part
that's
of
how
the
like all
problem
talking
is?
stages are. I think when you're in a talking stage for a long time, it's because one person is just actively avoiding dating, and then the other person is just completely blind, which I was dumb and blind.
Yeah. I think part of it may be, and this is just me thinking here, I think you might be slightly, I don't want to say the words petty, but mad that
Oh,
he called it off and you
100%.
didn't.
But I don't think I ever would. Like, you see me with my friendships. I don't have the guts to call
I
anything
know.
off with anyone.
But
100%.
after a conversation last week where I was surprised you were still talking to the guy
Yeah.
after he didn't give you the time of day.
Yeah, I know. Uh, he was just like I still think he's a really good guy,
Hmm.
just not for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've talked about it before, but I just like think so much about the invisible string theory, and I'm like, every person you meet, if it doesn't work, well, it's because it's not your person, and your invisible string is pulling you closer to someone else.
Yeah, that's a way to think
Hopefully,
about it.
hopefully, or I'm gonna be 55 and single with a wine addiction. So yeah, so that was how my day started. So I had a whole different topic, but I could talk about this forever because I'm still decompressing it because I'm crazy.
What what was your other topic?
So I went to a conference this week in it was another conference in New York,
Hmm.
and it was all about DEI and things along DEI,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not going to talk about that side of it.
No, no,
Um
I'm quite familiar with it. We talk about it a lot at work.
yeah, but let me pull up. So one of the things was like she was criticizing advice she was given, and so she was criticizing job advice. She was like
Hmm.
um the main the one she said, I didn't write the examples, but she said the one where it's like strive for like you want to work what is the saying, it's like you want to, if you love your job you'll never work a day in your life. And she
Hmm.
was like, that's so unrealistic, like yada yada yada. And she was like critiquing the advice that she was given. And I want to do it so bad, but not just for jobs, I want to do it for everything. Like, have you ever been given a piece, I know you have, been given a piece of advice and then you thought like completely opposite in your brain?
Yeah, I was once told at a Penn State graduation, um, walk into a room like you're the dumbest person there. Like everybody in that room is smarter than you. And I was like, that is the stupidest thing ever.
I
Why would I walk in already
the
down a
piece
peg?
the piece of advice that I hate more than anything is, it's love advice, and it's when they're like, you're gonna find it when you least expect it.
Oh, I've been thinking about that one a lot
Do
lately.
not tell me that, because there's no, I've said it
Then
before, and there's
what's the reason to
never a
like
point.
try?
There's never a point that someone is not looking for love. We are programmed as humans to want to find someone to love.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's another one?
Um,
I stood up in front of a group of talked on a panel this week, and I stood up in front of a group
mhm.
of kids and told them that they should start humbly bragging about themselves, because the more they talk about themselves, the more they manifest their future. And I saw the looks on my program director's face, like, you cannot tell a room full of 22-year-olds to brag about themselves. And I was like, oh, guess I told them the wrong advice.
eh,
I genuinely
depends
believe
on
in
the
that, though.
person. No, I mean you have to get used to talking about yourself somehow.
I genuinely believe the more you talk about your goals and aspirations, the more people will advocate for you to get them.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I can't think of any now. I thought it was a really good topic, and I was thinking a lot of them at the time.
Hmm.
Or, don't look for jobs. I got a piece of advice that was like, don't always chase the money. But like that one's like
Yeah,
obvious. Like, I will always chase the money because you paying me barely minimum wage is not going to happen.
I mean, I agree with that to an extent. You can't just sit on, you know, no money. Like you have to get out there at some point and like go after money. Otherwise, what's the point of even working?
Yeah, and also we live in an economy where you need money for the world to go round.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to go on to the next part of the topic about the concept, oh my gosh, the conference. So another thing they talked about
Hmm.
was, and I talked to my mom about it this week too, is the resiliency of our generation, and how a lot of people say that our generation's like lazy and so quick to job hop and not driven and
I feel like we're
all of
just
that.
beaten down.
Yeah, but The woman that spoke, and I wish I could shout her out, but I don't have my work notebook here. But she's a professor at Columbia, and she was also working
Hmm.
in investment banking. But she was talking about how statistics are showing the polar opposite, but it's the way that the older generations were raised to look down upon us and the way we do things. So they're calling us lazy, but we're actually using tools to the ability that they're supposed to. So instead of manually doing all these calculations, we're using things like Excel and pulling metrics that they've never seen, but we're using Excel, so
Right.
it's lazy to them. Or it's lazy because the Excel that we're doing, it takes us 5 minutes, whereas their calculations are taking them 4 hours. So we're cutting the
Right.
time down.
I knocked over my box.
Oh, and
It was closed. Don't worry.
yeah, it's fine. And then the comments about like our generation job hopping and stuff. And she was like, we trained these young, I'm going to call them Zennials because I don't know if we're
Hmm.
Gen Z or lower, like we're in like the kind of in between. But
We are 2000s.
yeah, I call us a Zennial though because I remember times when we didn't have phones.
Hmm.
But she was talking about how um we were raised to be outspoken and to stand up for ourselves and not to let people push us around and to know our worth. And now that we're in the job
Right.
force and we're speaking up for ourselves and we're knowing our worth, and if you're not paying us right, not treating us well, and not providing us growth opportunities, we're quick to leave because we like are pursuing our future. She's like, we raised them
Right.
to be this way. Why are we criticizing them for doing what's best for them, whereas these are our kids?
Hmm.
And I was like, that's so true because everyone you know that's job hopping is because they get either pigeonholed in their career or aren't getting paid enough.
Right. No, I agree with that. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't have a choice with what to do, but I don't have. As soon as I can, I'm gone. At this point, like I
Yeah. Do you know another
don't
thing that drives
have.
me crazy is when people say, "Oh, you're not getting paid well, but the experience is phenomenal." I'm a firm believer in like you need good experience, but when you're actively
You don't make money off of experience.
yeah, and also so when we're this early in our career, we're 2 years in. Yeah, experience is going to be helpful, but also when you're actively paying people 20 to $30,000 less than everyone else in their field in their region, that's an issue, and that's something that needs to be
Yeah.
addressed in the company. Like that's not
I
right in any way.
yeah. I don't have anything else to say on that other than yeah.
Yeah. Like I was listening to this woman speak and I was like, this is what I needed to hear because everyone else that was speaking before her was talking about how Gen Z's hard to obtain talent and that we're asking for too much. And then she went up there and just like reversed it all. And she had statistics to prove it. I was like, yes, this
I
woman is
I
it.
don't feel like we're asking for too much. I feel like we're asking for an equal treatment.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I know we've talked about it, but like we are. I don't feel like we're making the same amount as what like our parents were making when they were our age. Comparable. Like I feel like
See,
back when our parents were our age, they could live off of what they made. And maybe that's just me
no,
not
yeah, yeah,
understanding
yeah,
what it
yeah,
was
yeah,
like back then.
absolutely. So this is what she discussed,
But
and then the response in the room actually aggravated her. So she discussed on the podium that Gen Z is coming into the workforce with statistics showing that we are the most stressed people in the workforce to date. And it's showing
mhm,
because of external factors like having to pay student loans while also paying the cost of living, which is not feasible, which is also getting underpaid, which is getting told that you need experience but not the paycheck to afford to pay for your student loans. The fact that most kids are coming out of college between 25 and $50,000 in student loans that they have to pay off by the time they're 27. Um, and then with that, we're also battling things like depression, anxiety, like the social factors of social media and your life always on this market. Like our generation is facing things that no one else's generation has seen going into the workforce while also working a 9 to 5 and keeping up your job there.
yeah. I mean, I always think back to TikToks that I've seen a while ago now, of this guy who goes around whenever he sees like I don't want to say boomer age, but like an older like between our parents and our grandparents' age, somewhere between in like that range. He'll go around and I'll ask him, be like, do you mind if I ask you how much you paid for your house? Like your first house, how much did you pay for it? And they're like, oh, we paid $10,000
Yeah.
dollars. And he goes, how do you feel about housing prices now? Oh, it's whatever.
Yeah, because they're
How do
not
you feel
thinking of
about,
how hard it is for a
right.
25-year-old to afford a $400,000 house.
I don't think I will ever if I stay on the current path that I am now and I don't take the detour that I think I'm at this point I'm planning to take, because I don't know how else to be able to make a decent living. Um, I'd never be able to afford a house by myself.
Yeah, I don't think I will be either.
Like, I wouldn't be able to afford a house until I got
Hmm.
married. And at that point, if we want to have kids, I don't know how the fuck you afford
Yeah.
it. I don't know how you afford it.
Yeah, I think there has to be a bust at some point in the future where everything is going to
And it's gonna
crash. It has
happen.
to. Because if we keep drastically increasing the way we are, an average house in 15 years is going to cost $1 million. And no, like, no one in our, not even the minimum, like, not even the lower classes will be able to afford that. Take
Yeah.
out the fight for the bare minimum household, and you're going to have people with 6 kids living in a 2 bedroom because that's all they can afford, because that's going to be $1 million. Like, our everything is rising at such astronomical rates. It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah. I don't know
And
what we're
yeah,
gonna do.
I have a frustrating topic on this as well, as being like growing up and like getting a house and stuff, but it's more about like the
Hmm.
now. I hate going I hate that when I'm 24, and I'm not thinking about having kids or a family within the next, I don't know, 3 years, let's say. I'll give myself until 27.
Hmm.
I'm not thinking about any of that now. So when I go to the like career events and stuff like that, sorry, my friend's calling me.
Hmm.
We're gonna mute her. Um,
Oh,
when I go to events like this, I want to hear about like actual career advice on how I can stand out in the workforce. And you go, and even when you read books on this topic as a young woman, all that these books talk about is how you have to use your motherly instincts and get things by that way, because that's what our natural paths are. And I'm like, no, I want to know how to like lead a room and dictate a room and do things that way. But every book is like, yeah, you earn grit through being a mother, or use your motherly instincts, or have empathy, like when you talk to your children. Like, there's no, like, when you read a book written by a man, it's like, I'm thinking about the book Can't Hurt Me by like the Marine, and it was like, get out there and do things and use your voice and this and this, and it's never that way for women. Like, and I wish I could support women authors that are writing about like growth and stuff. And you're probably like rolling your eyes at this, but I don't know. I'm like in this spot where I'm so frustrated at, because there are none, because it all talks about being a mom and doing all of that, when all I want to know is like how I can grow my career as a woman.
I mean, I get it, because I feel like your company tries to do
Yeah.
more than my company does. Because whenever we bring up, career growth opportunities with our leadership, they're always like, well, you guys have this one
Yeah.
certification that we offer, and well, why don't we set up a team of you guys to figure out what we can do? And it's like, all right, how about we just talk about, how we use our career ladder and how we get promotions, because I still don't
Yeah.
understand that, and I'd like to figure that out. At this point, I don't really care enough, because I'm planning on leaving
Yeah. I don't know. I had like
soonish,
the flash of my
hopefully.
lifetime, and the guy didn't mean it, but I was walking around talking to this guy on my team the other day, and he turned and I was like, "We're going to go this
Hmm.
way instead." And I said it that way, and he was like, "You're so masculine." Or no, he said, we make jokes that they go on man walks, because they'll just disappear for like 30 minutes,
Hmm.
three of the guys. So we make jokes that they're going on man walks. And then I messaged the one guy and I was like, "Hey, do you want to go on a walk?" And he turns to the other guy and he's like, "Yeah, we're going on a man walk." And I go, "Except I'm not a man." And he goes, "Yeah, but you're so masculine, it doesn't matter." And I was like, as I'm in like my heels and have my extensions and full makeup on, and I was like, "I'm masculine." And he's like, "That's not what I meant. Let's just go on the walk." So then we chit chatted and we were talking about like hard topics. And then when we were going back upstairs, I said, "We're going to go this way instead so we can talk longer." And he was like, "This is what I mean. You're so masculine." And I was like, "All I said is we're taking another staircase." And he goes, "Okay, I guess masculine's the wrong word. You're so dominant." And I was like, "No, I'm just giving you directions. Like, I'm not dominant. I'm not masculine. It's just me using my voice and telling you we're going this way." I was so flustered. I was like,
Yeah,
why are we using these terms when I'm literally just talking? Right?
yeah,
Like,
I
that's
get
kind
that.
of like, huh? And it
It's
happens
weird.
like more often than not.
It's
Like,
weird.
I was in a meeting and I was talking, and I left the meeting and they were like, "You control the room like a man." And I was like, you can just say I control the room well. Like, you don't have to be like a man.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
And
I,
that's
I,
why
I don't.
No, you're
I
good.
don't know what to
I'm
say
just like
here.
ranting. Again, it's been a really rough week. But like that's when it goes back to like books and podcasts and people talking, like you go and you listen to these things and they're telling
Hmm.
me that I'm going to learn everything from being a mother and I'm going to do all of this and it's like, no, I want to learn from someone that's been in the workforce and used their voice and been a leader and a woman and didn't think twice about having to have kids or what it's like after maternity leave or why kids gave you the grit to be able to control a room. Like where are the people that at a young age knew what they wanted and how they wanted to get there and didn't need this massive life change to do difference?
I don't think that's
I
their
know, and it's going to take
generation.
someone from our generation to do that.
Yeah,
I just I just like
but I
wish
don't
I just want a
know
role model.
if we'll get there.
And I want to and then you talk to people, "Oh my God, the worst thing is when I'm like they're like we're going to set you up with a mentor and we want you to have like a woman as a mentor." And I'm like that's not what I need right now apparently. I need a man as a mentor because apparently that's what I act like.
Man, your company's doing so much better than mine in like the past two sentences. We're gonna say it with a mentor. Mine.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
All right then.
I've had 5 buddies in like 3 weeks, Curtis. I just keep getting assigned as everyone's freaking buddy.
Whoa, your body count's going up.
No, my body count has definitely stayed the same. Um,
I don't know, buddies.
yeah, like people that join the company that you have their day one buddy.
I know. I didn't have one of
Oh,
those either.
neither did I. So now let's talk about last episode since we've heard all about Jenna's life drama and all of her freaking dilemmas she's under. Maybe one day, instead of ranting, I'll give the advice. Maybe I'll do that. I'll start paving the way for women. If you're called dominant, take it as a compliment. They don't mean it that way. Um, if you are getting called dominant and manly, it means you're controlling the room in a way that they've never seen before, and be proud of yourself for it. That's what I'm going to give the advice as. Okay. One day I
Yeah,
will speak on a TED Talk, Curtis.
you and me
Yeah,
both about
very
different
different
things.
things.
I don't know
One's
what
gonna
my TED
be
Talk's gonna be about, but
feminism.
I doubt it'll make sense.
Okay, so let's talk about last episode because you said I could pull up the quote that you said.
I said I would
Hmm.
if you wanted me to. I just I haven't been feeling myself. I don't know how to explain it other than that. It's just been, I don't know, I've been in this really weird state since Memorial Day. I just, I haven't wanted to talk
Hmm.
to people, but I've also not wanted to not talk to people. Almost depression, but not
So is it
depression is
like,
kind of the best way I can explain it.
do you think you could be like going like it's I don't know how to explain it other than like shedding your skin. Like, do you think you're almost like maturing in a way and you just don't know how to handle it yet and like you feel like you don't feel like yourself because you're not yourself anymore and you're in this in between that maybe you're not as introverted as you thought and you need some more social interaction or
I mean, I've known since college that I
yeah.
need more than I did in high school, social interaction wise. But I think it's mainly, I think it's a combination of like, I went from a lot of social interaction with, my buddy, just talking to him every day, my one coworker, talking to her pretty frequently, to like that in-person connection just being cut off completely because I haven't really talked to her in like two, three
Hmm.
weeks almost. I don't know why. It just kind of haven't talked to her, haven't heard from her. I haven't really seen her at work either, so I haven't like talked to her there. But I lost that, so I don't really have like an in-person connection right now. I think Memorial Day was just kind of I got back from a long weekend with like the same person for 24 hours, and I like the guy, but sometimes he's a lot. I think everybody is, but I just kind of wanted to not
Hmm.
be around people. My mom said I was rude at Memorial Day and that I just wasn't answering people's questions. But I felt like I was. But I just didn't want to be around people at that moment.
I think
I
part
just
of your
kind of wanted to,
issue is
like,
that you're not dictating your own life and you're
not.
desperately wanting to. Like, I think you're at the point that you're like, if I want to stay
Yeah.
inside, I want to stay inside, but then also you're being forced to do things with your family. Or like you want to lock up in your cave and play video games, but then you have to interact with your family and stuff like that. Like you don't have control over what you're doing, and I think that's a key factor of why you're feeling the way you are. Almost like it's not like you're outgrowing, how do I say this nicely? Like not that you're outgrowing your house, but you're the world is bigger than you your town and you're in desperate need to get out and do more, but you're almost being held back, and that's causing these issues.
Yeah, I don't even think I need to like get out of my town. I think I just
To get
need
out
to.
of the walls that you've lived in since you were 3.
Yeah, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't without hurting my mom, and I can't without money that I don't make. Like, I think the simplest solution ever is me moving out, but I can't afford that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like, you tell people and they're like, that doesn't make any sense. You should be able to afford that. And it's like, no, I can't. I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm like, cool beans, dude. You explain to me how I'm supposed to do it then.
I mean, it is
And
possible
then, nobody has
because
an answer.
you do make
It is, but it's not.
like the same amount as most like lower middle class families.
I could save, well, I could at most save $200 a month.
Yes.
And that's barring any.
Curtis, I'm telling you that if you really wanted to, you could. Like,
I know.
like,
if I really wanted
like
to, I
my
could,
parents
but
will
I
fully
don't.
admit that, like, we grew up very, very poor, and you're making more than my parents made when we were growing up, and you can afford it.
No, and I get that. I know I'm fortunate with what I make.
It's just not
and
the
I can
smartest
afford
move.
it. However, I don't. No, it's not. It doesn't make sense for me to do it when I wouldn't be able to live. I don't even want to say a comfortable lifestyle. I wouldn't be able to live a enjoyable, to me,
agree.
life. Like, I couldn't rationally afford to golf.
Yeah.
Often. Which I've come to enjoy. That's a nice way to, like, get out and hang out with my friend. Like, I couldn't afford to do that. I couldn't afford to go on a random trip.
Maybe that's what you have to start doing. Maybe you have to start going on trips. Like, take a weekend, find a cheap hotel somewhere, take a weekend, and go travel.
Yeah, I just don't know how I feel about traveling
whenever.
by myself. Listen, I don't know where you want to go.
Anywhere.
What you want to do.
I don't know, I don't know anywhere. What a second. I don't know anywhere in the area, not gonna lie, but freaking anywhere.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I felt bad after last week. I just felt like I wasn't
never feel bad for having me ramble.
enough.
I could really talk for like hours and hours by myself and not think twice.
Yeah, but it wasn't even just the rambling. It was also like the not giving anything back. Yeah, that wasn't really like talking.
Yeah.
I was just kind of there.
So since we recorded last episode, I don't want to like shy across your point, but since we recorded last episode, last week we talked about me driving up north to see my friend for dinner. Going back to the first topic we talked about, that's what was the most frustrating part, is he was like, we live too far apart for this to work. We live an hour away from each other. That's like a standard commuting distance in my brain. I don't think an hour is too far at frickin' all.
Wait.
Yeah, he said that it won't work because we're too far apart and we have too busy of schedules.
I forgot that he said that. I do remember you saying that. So my friend and I, who play golf together, we live 2 hours away.
I know.
We travel an hour to play golf. I'm traveling an hour tomorrow to play golf with him.
So he sent the message, and I literally said, dang, okay, had a feeling this was coming. And he said, I'm so sorry. And I was like, if you ever actually wanted to give it a try, let me know. But I wanted to message and be like, you're a fucking dipshit if you think, well, explicit episode. But I wanted to be like, yeah, I wanted to be like, you're a fucking dipshit
us.
if you think an hour is far. My older sister drives 2 hours for her boyfriend, and they see each other every weekend. Like, truly just say you don't like me. And again, I'm a main character. I'm a freaking amazing person. Get out of here. But
I hate that if he wanted to, he would, but
right? So just say you don't like me.
He would.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite saying.
I wanted to respond and be like, you are just
100% applicable
absolutely a fucking liar. But so last week when I drove up to my friend, I drove 2 hours for dinner and then an hour and a half home. And on like Monday or Tuesday, I texted the kid and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, that took a huge weight off.
I drove 2 hours for dinner.
I know. Fucking. No, this wasn't the same kid. No. I drove to dinner to see my friend. The other comment was about this talking to this kid.
Yeah. No, I know that's who you're driving to.
But I texted the kid and I was like, hey, this took a huge weight off my chest because genuinely for the past, like, I don't know, 3 months, I've been so stressed about
Hmm.
just like losing all of like my other friends, like not my close friends, but my friends. And I was like, this took a huge weight off my chest knowing that we were okay. And he messaged back and was like, yeah, I think it was smart to do this before our friends trip. It'll make things go a lot smoother then. And I wanted to be like, you completely missed the point. Like, you aren't even in the right ballpark. You're like down the road.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know if
Yeah,
he's
I
got
was like,
that
oh,
in
good thing we
mind.
saved our friendship, but I talked about how you crushed my feelings. And he was like, yeah, didn't want that trip to be that you paid for to be awkward. Oh,
Yeah, I think that's what he was thinking about. I don't think he
no,
um,
not at all.
was
And then
looking
I
at it the same
texted
way
like
you
one of
did.
my close guy friends about it, and he was like, yeah, he's not in the right ballpark. And I was like, no, he's down the road and 3 ballparks over. Actually, I might be standing in Yankee Stadium, he's standing in Red Sox Field.
Do you
Oh,
want to talk about the other thing?
what other thing?
Okay. If you don't know the other thing, then we don't have to talk about
Oh,
it.
Curtis sliding into people's DMs?
I Here's the sad thing, and this is what I didn't tell you because I figured you'd want to bring it up here. I don't think she's ever gonna respond.
Why?
Because when I went to send her a message, it said, "Would you like to send an invitation to chat?" Meaning, and I double checked it, she didn't follow me.
Oh.
So I don't think she's ever gonna
Did
see
she
it.
read it? Oh,
No,
some
it's been sent
background for the
for.
listeners. Curtis is getting really, really comfortable with sliding into people's
Mm-mm,
DMs and or
mm-mm,
the
mm-mm,
idea
mm-mm.
of sliding into people's DMs.
No.
And he slid into someone from high school's DMs.
N- Incorrect. I am
Shoot your shot, ladies and
that
gentlemen.
fucking lonely.
Me too.
It got really bad the other day when I was watching a TikTok, and it was just a short video of just a girl walking out to a pool with a beautiful background, and I was like, man, that makes me really sad
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever get that.
We think positive.
Do
Um,
we?
apparently not. I don't know. I'm painfully lonely again.
You can't get a guy to drive an hour, and I can't get a girl to respond to me
Uh, effort.
in the nicest way
Effort.
possible.
No, yeah, literally. Literally.
Um, yeah.
But Curtis slid into a
I don't
girl's
know where to go
DMs
from
and
there.
we're pending a response.
We are pending something.
A response is what it's called, Curtis.
That is a response. Positive, negative, I don't know. I'd just like a response.
Yeah.
That's all I can ask for at this
I
point, I
like,
guess.
oh my God, I can't stop thinking. I'm like, I want to message this kid and just be like,
Oh, that kid.
yeah, I just want to be like, so many questions, but I'm not going to do it because I refuse to be annoying. But
Oh, now you're drawing that line. Sorry,
did you just call me annoying?
no,
That's rude.
I did not. I did no such thing.
Hmm.
I
What else do we got going on? I start
I
my
hit a
new
tee
job
shot.
at
That's
work
what I
on
hit.
Monday, and I'm kind of
Oh,
already
nice,
frustrated
nice.
with it. No, I'm excited for it, but
I'm worried about getting let go again
yeah.
for the second time in 4 months.
I saw that. I
That's the other
saw
reason.
that
That's the other reason I
change
want to leave.
where they're changing like the over like they're forcing essentially forcing companies to pay overtime, but I didn't think it was. I don't know what I thought it was. Sometimes I forget that corporate
They're
America.
changing the way that what qualifies for an exempt versus non-exempt employee.
Yeah.
And for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's basically salary versus hourly.
Mm-hmm.
Salary is exempt because they're exempt from overtime. Hourly is non-exempt because they're not exempt from overtime. And they're changing the minimums for that, and they're raising it by a total of like 30 something odd, like 30 something odd percent by January of 25, which is insane in and of itself. It's going from $35,000 to $59,000 in
7 months.
6 months. No, 6 months. January 1 is when
Yeah.
the final one would take effect, and that's just an insane time frame. Like there's
Yeah.
no way to do those raises. You're just forcing people to go hourly, which isn't good. Because part of what I'm worried about too is that, while I'm 40 hours a week and I'm supposed to be guaranteed 40 hours a week, since we're so slow, is it going to be hey, we're slow. If you don't have anything to do, just clock out. Which my dad's like, that's not going to be a thing. They'll just pay you 40 hours. Just say you're hourly. And it's like, is that really what they're going to do? Like, how, like, what's, like, I don't know. And
I was a non-exempt
don't like
employee
it.
up until this March.
Yeah, so was I.
I was hourly.
Well, I was
until this
non-exempt
March.
until.
Or I was an exempt employee until this March. I got overtime up until like 3/23.
That's interesting.
It's because for the first year at my company, when you're fresh out of college, they don't, like, until you get your first promotion, you don't get qualified for a bonus. They pay you overtime, and you have to like clock your hours every week.
I'm salary for the purpose of, like, I don't have standard hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my standard hours are kind of like up in the air, depending on like events and whatnot. And events could be longer, they could be at different times of the day. So it's just kind of easier to have me salary so that it's, less for everybody to worry about, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a what am I supposed to do, like, about overtime? Because now I'm technically supposed to get it, but do I want to say, hey, I should get overtime for this, and then be like, oh, now these people are getting overtime. We need to look at them to cut. I'm like, I don't know. It's a really weird position to be in. Like, I'm always grateful I have a job, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do at this point with it. And it's not a fun position to be in. Twice in the same year.
I don't think that I don't think they'll fire you.
I don't either, but my brain doesn't work like that. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I wouldn't be nervous until there's actually a reason for you to be nervous. Like, as long as your company hasn't talked to you about it, you're fine.
I feel like there's always a reason for me to be nervous because, we're so slow right now. Like, if we were to lose one person, it would still be fine and we wouldn't need to hire somebody new right away.
Yeah.
Like, it's not...
$59,000. Holy fucking hell.
Yeah, that's the one that would affect me.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a lot, and it is. But, at the same time, I'd like to make that much.
Yeah.
Oh, I know something to talk about. The one thing that I wanted to talk about last time that I forgot about. It's kind of funny and lighthearted, and a way to kick into another topic. You know that kids today were born after Katy Perry's Firework came out?
No, is that a true fact?
Uh-huh.
Wait, kids today, obviously.
There's a bunch...
Wait, do you mean like 18-year-olds today?
Like freshmen in high school.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What blew my mind is that...
Because Katy Perry's Firework released in 2010, which means they're 14 right now.
What blew my mind is that... and what boggles my mind is that 18-year-olds were born in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
It makes my head hurt. I'm like, these people are adults and they were born after 2005.
Yeah, and freshmen were born in 2010-ish.
Yeah, that makes me ill.
Yeah. My car is almost older than them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I look at them and I listen to the way that these kids talk and I'm like,
how are you going to make it in the real world?
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like the one kid, I don't remember if I told you this one, said I was holding him back from throwing better. Because I wouldn't let him do a full spin and disc because because I wouldn't let him do a South African for like a competition.
Whoa. Okay. Just so everyone listening knows, South African is a spinning technique for throwing disc. Okay, keep going.
So he wanted to start. So normally for a South African, which is a throwing technique for disc, you start with your left foot in the circle if you're right-handed, and then you kick forward with your right, and then you spin around on your right foot. This kid started left shoulder to the circle, both feet in the circle, and then tried to do a South African that way, which is a throwing technique for disc. And I watched him do that, and I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, oh, he's just South African. I'm like, you're not allowed to do that anymore. I go, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it right. He goes, well, that's how I was told to do it. I'm like, okay, I'm telling you right now, until you get down a wheel and a power throw, you're not allowed to do that. As
Yeah.
long as I'm here. And he goes, you're just holding me back. I'm like, I'm not holding you back.
Go run a lap.
You can't throw that.
Yeah.
He goes, but it
Yeah.
goes so much farther. I go, I don't care how much farther it goes. You don't have the technique for it. You want to do push-ups? You can keep arguing with me.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like. Oh,
And then
kids
he went to
nowadays
the
are
head
so-
coach, because the head coach came to me after that practice and goes, the kid said something about you were holding him back. I go, Jesus. So, really?
Yeah,
He
so
goes, yeah.
If we
Then
go
I explained
back
to
to
him,
the
he goes,
if we go back to
what?
the generation comment where like our parents raised us to be outspoken and defend ourselves, if we look at what the millennials raised, that's
Oh.
that's what we're getting now. That's who the freshmen in high school are. And I'm like, oh my god, I hope Gen Z does so much better in raising our kids than the millennials.
I think we will.
I look at these girls in high school and I'm like, oh, you would not have survived when we were in high school.
The amount of drama
Yeah.
that this year had, it was the most. And the one coach that's been there since I was in high school and before I was in high school, who went to school with one of my coworkers, he said, this is the most drama we have ever had. He goes, there was like so much drama this year for no reason.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Kids today are wild.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you want to wrap it up? We're at the top of the hour.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Well, everyone, if you're still listening at this point, thank you for listening to us ramble for this long. Follow us on Instagram. And yeah, I think that's all that we're closing it out with, right, Curtis?
I think so. I haven't finished the first box of wine, so
Chug,
I gotta
chug,
get drink,
chug,
and I have
chug.
another one to finish.
Yeah, I mean, I am a firm believer in when your parents are gone, have a glass of wine, so. Or four.
And I'm a firm believer that I was raised in college to not waste alcohol.
The amount of alcohol that I dumped down the drain in college, that's a story for another
know.
time. Oh, okay. We're gonna end there.
But you
Thank
guys raised me not to waste it. Anyway.
Yeah, I taught other people that dumping alcohol down the drain was alcohol abuse. I taught myself that when you decide that you want to give up on alcohol, drain it all out of your system.
That's a different story. Hold on. We're not talking about like if you want to quit, that's a different story.
No, every time I
Like-
drank too much, I would go through this phase where I was like, I can't. Well, I still do it. I'm like, I hate alcohol. I don't want to do it, and then I would dump all of my leftover vodka down the drain. But then 6 weeks later,
know-
I would end up blacked out at a frat party. So,
You know what I'm
may as well
excited
save
for?
it. What?
I'm excited for the point where I'm just drunk enough to get super hungry, and I have 3 mozzarella sticks and some fries left from dinner.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll end there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh.
Good night.